One of these period dramas was so damn good, even George R.R. Martin is fighting to bring it back. Another got buried under the Netflix algorithm, and now's your last chance to catch it. Here are 10 underrated period dramas that are either still airing or recently wrapped up, the ones that didn't get nearly as much love as they should have. When this show was announced, a lot of people wrote it off. A Channel 5 period drama didn't exactly scream prestige TV, but they were so wrong. Based on the books by James Herriot, a real-life Yorkshire vet, it follows 3 veterinarians working in the English countryside in the 1930s. It's not flashy, it's not full of high drama, and that's exactly why it works. No politics, no social agenda, just a warm, down-to-earth show about people doing their jobs and living their lives. The stories are great, the acting is top-notch, and it has a kind of warmth that TV's been missing for a while. And the craziest part? The BBC turned it down. They didn't think it fit their audience. Huge mistake, because All Creatures Great and Small became exactly the kind of show people were looking for. The show takes Oliver Twist, jumps 15 years ahead, and throws Jack Dawkins into 1850s Australia. Except now, instead of picking pockets, he's stitching people up as a surgeon. But just when he's got a fresh start, Fagin shows up, ready to pull him back into a life of crime. It's got everything. Surgery that looks way rougher than what we're used to, high-stakes gambling, political scheming, and a romance that hurts. Thomas Brodie Sangster absolutely nails it as Jack, and David Thewlis plays Fagin like he was born for the role. It's like Bridgerton meets Grey's Anatomy, but with crime and way better writing. The dialogue is sharp, the pacing is tight, and it never drags. If you're expecting classic Jane Austen, Sanditon is gonna mess with your head. Austen only finished 11 chapters before she died in 1817, so screenwriter Andrew Davies had to make up the rest. Using the completed chapters, Davies had to imagine the rest of the story in a way that honored the characters and the beloved author's tone. Some people were fine with that. Others absolutely hated it. It starts off strong. Young Charlotte Haywood arrives in a seaside town on the verge of a major transformation. But once the show runs out of actual Sanditon material, it veers into modern territory. It lasted 3 seasons, got decent reviews, and had some solid performances. It's just, if you're an Austen purist, this one's not for you. Julianne Moore and Nicholas Galitzine star in this scandalous historical drama set during the reign of King James I. Mary Villiers is a power-hungry mother who pushes her son George straight into the king's bed, using their relationship to climb the ranks and secure power for the family. Just don't expect a history lesson. Mary and George plays fast and loose with the facts. It's more about the spectacle, the scheming, and just how far people will go for status. And that's kind of what Stars and Sky do best. They know how to make historical dramas look good. Mary and George is the trendiest of the bunch, maybe because it's newer, but the editing is sharp, fast, and stylish. It doesn't waste time explaining things. It just cuts to the next moment, keeping you on your toes. In 1853, Elizabeth von Wittelsbach was just a Bavarian duchess. Then she married Emperor Franz Joseph and got thrown straight into the chaos of the Austrian court. That's the story behind The Empress, a German Netflix series that blew up when it dropped in 2022. It became the biggest German Netflix original since Barbarians in 2020. In its first 4 days, it racked up 47 million hours watched. It's not really historically accurate, but that doesn't actually matter all that much. It's got power plays, court intrigue, and enough drama to keep you hooked. The acting is on point, the production looks incredible, and it delivers exactly what you want from a royal epic. Most people had no idea Acapulco even existed until season 2 or 3, but once they found it, they got it. The series is based on the 2017 comedy How to Be a Latin Lover, but the show is way better than the movie it came from. Eugenio Derbez is back as Maximo Gallardo, telling the story of how he landed a job at a luxury Acapulco resort in the 80s. It's all about young Maximo figuring out how to survive in a world of rich, ridiculous vacationers. It's light, charming, and easygoing, with a warm, nostalgic vibe, and it's funny. Not just easygoing or charming, but genuinely well-crafted comedy with a mix of goofiness and heart. With a 4th season on the way, now's the perfect time to jump in. If you want period drama with a real sense of dread, The Terror delivers. The 1st season throws you into the Arctic in the 1840s, following the doomed Franklin expedition as they get stranded in the ice. The 2nd season shifts to a Japanese internment camp during World War II. This show doesn't mess around. The casting is ridiculously good. Jared Harris and Tobias Menzies both consider it some of their best work. The direction is sharp, the pacing is tight, and the production value is insane. Costumes, set design, dialogue, it all feels real. Originally, this was supposed to be a David Fincher movie, but turning it into a series was the right call. Season 3 is coming in 2025, and if they keep up this level of quality, it's going to be something special. For All Mankind is so underrated, it's criminal. The show starts with this huge what if. What if the Soviets got to the moon before the US? From there, it rewrites history and imagines a world where the space race never ended. Each season jumps ahead a decade, so you see how this alternate history evolves over time. It's got everything: space missions, Cold War tension, political drama, and the details are incredible. The tech, the look of the periods, even the way people talk, it all feels so real, even though it's all made up. For All Mankind won Emmys for its tie-in programming, but the show itself doesn't get nearly the attention it deserves. At least Apple knows what they've got. It's been renewed for a 5th season, and there's a spin-off on the way. A spin-off of History Channel's Vikings, this Netflix series up over a century after Vikings ended, covering the final chapter of the Viking era. The last battles, the last conquests, the last legends. Unlike the original, this one leans harder into action and adventure, giving it a different feel right from the start. At first, the reception was mixed, but as the show went on, it just kept getting better. By the time it hit its 3rd and final season, it felt like one of the TV's best-kept secrets. The story of the last of the Vikings wrapped up in 2024, but that ending definitely left room for more. My Lady Jane takes the absolute disaster that was Tudor England after Henry VIII and turns it into a wild, irreverent, and totally off-the-rails fantasy. Instead of a straight historical drama, it throws shapeshifters, political scheming, and a whole lot of humor into the mix. The show built a small but dedicated fan base that loved it. The writing was sharp, the fantasy twist was ridiculous in the best way, and the main couple had real chemistry. But Amazon pulled the plug after just 8 episodes, even though the 2nd season was already written and in pre-production. Fans lost it. A petition started immediately, and even Game of Thrones creator George R. Martin backed the campaign to save it.